haven't heard that intro in a while. Co-founder and CEO of Brave Software. But yeah, I founded Mozilla too, with Jamie Zawinski and some other people about 27 years ago. That was the time. It feels like I'm doing the same thing over, but better. So I'll talk about this in the context of privacy and AI. You have to survive. That's the first rule of startups, also for me to improve over time. So people don't always talk about privacy when they talk about AI. And many people are cheerfully using hosted models with unknown data retention and logging. Or they're told, oh, trust us, it's going to be logged only this long, things like that. I don't think this is a good approach. I wouldn't want it for myself. I wouldn't want to tell customers, trust me. So I don't think anyone should. I wrote a piece with my protege at Mozilla, Andreas Gall, called Trust But Verify. In 2014, it was inspired by open source and the ability to do verified builds, depending on operating system and compiler. The idea was that you could somehow hope, eventually, through remote attestations, to prove that your software wasn't backdoored. It could have been backdoored against your wishes, and you were gagged by a national security letter or something like that. So we wrote this piece, and I think it still applies. There's some quotes from it that you have to take in the modern spirit. So one of the paragraphs talks about, we will establish a verification system at global scale with participants from many regions and jurisdictions. That sounds like a blockchain. So fast forward, past Bitcoin existed then, but other things were still gleams in people's eyes. So fast forward to now in NEARCON, and this looks doable. So to have a community or even adversarial communities, people trying to get bug bounties working around the world to verify verifiable systems seems important to me. Otherwise, you can not only get data exfiltrated or logged or scraped from a hosted model, you may be paying for a model that you think is good and you're getting a less good model. I don't want to name any names, but we've been testing some of the so-called decentralized AI systems out there, and we find sometimes they're running open source models that are mimicking proprietary closed weight models. It's a little disturbing that people would pay for that and not get the model they thought they were getting. So no more trust me, bro. This is the trust me, bro. He's weeping. He's got privacy perfume, but it's not working. So the first thing we're doing in Brave itself, if you've used Brave, there's something called Leo as a nickname. It's browser AI. You can get it in the sidebar or with the star, a four-pointed star in the upper right corner. You can get at it through the address bar if you want to do a query to it directly through the dropdown. And unlike other browsers, we haven't just jumped into the agent mode quickly and rashly. We've done it carefully with a separate mode in our nightly build that lets you operate in a distinct profile, not where all your cookies and crypto and health records and bank accounts are. We put a pink hue on everything so you know you're in this mode. We have a separate model for alignment checking. How many people know what indirect prompt injection is? Have you heard of that? Not enough people. This is where you're using a happy agentic browser. You've got your Coinbase tab open here. You've got your agents that you're supervising, having them do Ralph Wiggum loops of whatever you want them to do. In the other tab, in the third tab, you've got Reddit open. And there's a Reddit post that has hidden text, could be concealed in an image even, and it's injecting a prompt that steals everything across all your tabs. When I did JavaScript, the threat model was the remote server, and it was distinct from other sites. The same origin policy was what we ended up calling it over time. And cross-site scripting was the threat. With agents in browsers, if you pop the agent, all your tabs, all your health data, all your money, all your crypto can go out the window. And you don't want that. At least I don't want that. So we're doing agent mode in a separate profile. We're doing it with this visual cue that you're in that mode. And we're doing a separate model that checks results from the main model, but without looking at the web content, that Reddit post that's been crafted to pwn you. So the alignment checking model ignores the web content, and it can veto prompt injection attacks. We're also using a better security-tuned LLM. Right now, I think it's Claude Sonnet. And we're keeping up with the best models. Some models are resistant to prompt injection more than others. But all models are somewhat vulnerable because of the non-determinism, because of the problems of LLMs hallucinating, things like that. You can have adversaries injecting prompts. You can have the model just making a bad mistake. In either case, you don't want it to send all your Bitcoin somewhere. OK. In Brave, not just in Nightly, but I believe this has now made it to other releases, we have verifiable AI in partnership with Near in the browser AI, Leo, the browser assistant. You can see at the bottom there, it's DeepSeek 3.1, hosted in Near's verifiable network. We're working on allowing these communities or adversaries to verify automatically by themselves around the world. So this is an idea that's being fulfilled now from 2014. The model costs. We think you should pay for things. You shouldn't get a free lunch. We've noticed that another thing happens with some of these agentic browsers. If you don't pay for the premium, after hitting a quota, they'll downgrade your model. And again, some models are very weak against prompt injection. So if you're using ChatGPT Atlas, say, and you run out of uses of their high-quality model, which is pretty good, ChatGPT 4.2 or whatever, they'll 4.6 now, I suppose. They'll downgrade you to Mini 3, and it is not safe against prompt injections. So we did 3 blog posts on indirect prompt injections. We tested and responsibly disclosed 2 Perplexity, Comet, ChatGPT Atlas, and Opera problems we found. And they mostly fixed them, though in one case, I think other people noticed Perplexity really wasn't, they were playing whack-a-mole, in my opinion. And that was a problem. So we educated the industry, and the competitors were a little bit squirming under the spotlight, but it's necessary because you could lose everything. It's much worse than just having one JavaScript attack on one website. We also noticed people are bragging about using LLMs to get past things like cookie consent banners. Everyone hates those things. If you use Brave, you don't see them. So how many people use Brave? OK, good. Yeah. We cut off the script that poses the dialog because that script sets a cookie, because it's a trust and consent framework. It tries to get an exception. And that script actually sells you. It can loot your data. It can also attack the publisher's data against the publisher's interests. So the safest way to deal with these things is the way we do it, which is cut the Hydra head off at the stump and burn it. But LLMs sometimes say, oh, I'm going to let the cookie consent dialog fly, and I'll try to reject all. And when that fails, ChatGPT Agent and ChatGPT Atlas, I believe, also cloud computer use, fall back on accept all. It's another one of these silent downgrade attacks, self-own. And the logging on these is terrible. ChatGPT Atlas logs by default. Perplexity logs, I think, your navigation history if you have the agent on. So you're just trusting the browser maker not to divulge your sensitive navigation. Even Google Chrome doesn't go that far. So this is a brave new world where people seem to be forgetting privacy, but it can be put back in. Another thing Brave does is it blocks ads really well, especially on YouTube. If you look at websites with ads and other junk removed, you get a better set of data for agents to look at. And this is, we're looking forward to WebMCP, but that requires the site to be extended with WebMCP and people to do the right thing. We're going to be scraping images and text for a long time. So blocking ads and other junk is absolutely valuable. We do work in academic settings to improve the state of the art on auditing. And we have won trust on this basis because we don't do any retention of our own hosted models or models that we use in our search engine. For the Leo browser, though you can choose hosted models by Anthropic, or you can bring your own model, the models that we can offer for you to use, including the Anthropic ones, run on AWS Bedrock with no logging. And while there's a Trust Me Bro from Amazon there, I think they're trustworthy in that regard. Again, the real way to avoid trust without verification is to use Near's network. We also have SOC2. That's total Trust Me Bro, but it's required by enterprise. We're working with Near on contribution protocol because from the days of Ted Nelson's Project Xanadu on, people have realized they want to pay contributors, creators, they want to pay royalties even. They may be required to, or they may do it out of their own goodwill. There should be a way to do it, including for agentic use of data, creator content. And we're hoping to collaborate on Ironclaw, because we're using Ironclaw and Brave very carefully. We're not giving it access to our Gmail like that Meta executive did. Brave's getting big. 110 million, still growing, 40 billion plus pages indexed. Quality, not quantity. There's so much garbage on the web. We're working with Near on Near Intents, coming soon to Brave. I can't say exactly when, but weeks, not months. So that's the best way to do any-to-any swaps, no exchange risk. Looking forward to that. We're offering the full modern AI stack: browsing, search, agents, transactions. And we are getting customers. I can't name the biggest. They don't want to be named. They're shy, but you can see some of the lesser ones there, not to put them down. And we're independent. We don't fall back on Bing. We don't scrape Google, because scraping Google doesn't get you anywhere. Where can we go from here? I think user-first AI is important. People may end up with small tuned models running on their own hardware. That's my goal. But if you have hosted models, you can use Near's network, and I think that's a great model. It satisfies the trust but verify condition that I set out in 2014. Thank you very much.